The direct method. The direct method encourages learners to think in a target language by having all instruction take place in the language. The student does not translate or speak in their native tongue. In class, this approach proponents think that students should learn second language independently of their mother tongue. Grammar translation. With this approach, the learner primarily gains knowledge by translating into and out of the target language. Grammar rules and word lists should be memorized according to the instructors. Grammar exercises in translation that place more emphasis on the writing form that its content are another common activity. Audiolingual. The audiolingual method encourages students to form routines that aids in language acquisition. The teacher uses pattern drills, particularly dialogues, to help students practice and memorize the language, which is how most students learn. These changes adhere to accepted communication patterns. There are 4 types of dialogues utilized in this method. The first is repetition, in which the student repeats the teacher's statement exactly. The second is inflection, where one of the most appears in a different form from the previous sentences. For example, a word may change from the singular to the plural. Replacement, which involves one word being replaced with another while sentence construction remains the same. And the last is restatement, where the learner rephrases the teacher's statement. Structural approach. The structural approach proponents see grammar as a set of rules that must be learned on at a time and in a specific order. Instead of memorizing words, the structural approach emphasizes mastering these structures and building skills one upon another. Teachers can use it in conjunction with a variety of other language learning strategies. Total physical response or TPR. The total physical response technique combines spoken language with gestures. In a typical TPR class, the instructor would give verbal instructions while gesturing in the target language. Many teachers combine TPR with other language learning techniques. Although TPR can benefit students of all ages, it is most frequently applied to novices and younger students. Communicative language teaching or CLT. One of the most widely used strategies and techniques in language teaching is CLT. In order to successfully teach a second language, this approach emphasizes interaction and communication. The target language is used in scenarios that are commonplace for the students. For instance, students can practice starting conversation, making suggestions, inviting people over, whining, or expressing the time or location. Natural approach. This method concentrates on communication and learning through exposure in an effort to mimic natural language learning. The intention is to lower students' anxiety and encourage spontaneous use of the second language. The natural approach frequently uses problem-solving exercises, educational games, and content practices that combines various subject matter, like culture. Instead, the teacher focuses on fostering a calm, task-based language teaching or TBL. With this approach, students use their target language to finish tasks from the real world. By increasing the learner's confidence with each task completed by minimizing direct error correction, this technique promotes fluency. Supidea Language Learning Method. Psychotherapist Georgi Lizanov created this strategy and method for teaching languages in the 1970s. The positive suggestion method is another name for it, but it has since changed to the suggestopedia. The silent way is an intriguing and uncommon ESL teaching strategy with some firm foundations. After all, putting the focus on the students is the main objective of the majority of language classes. Notional approach. This approach to teaching English acknowledges that language is a tool for intentional communication. Nouns and verbs are examples of parts of speech that are used to express language functions and ideas. Speaking serves a variety of purposes, including informing, agreeing, challenging, persuading, evaluating, and others. Language is also used to discuss ideas or concepts like time, places, events, and etc. Test Teach Test Approach or TTT. The needs of the students can be specifically met this method of language instruction. For intermediate and advanced learners, it works best. Never use it for complete beginners.